All right, we will begin though with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
how we start a meeting. Okay, thank you all. Today is January 25th, 2024. This is the regular board meeting of ALCOSAN. Could we please have a roll call, Ms. Prager?
Representative Emily Kincaid. Mr. Dan Kelly,
Here.
Council President Teresa Kell Smith,
Yeah.
Councilwoman. Councilman Paul Klein,
Here.
Mr. Harry Rechaw,
Here.
Dr. Shanna Tharp Gilliam,
Present.
Miss Sylvia Wilson.
Here. Thank you. Just for everyone's knowledge, we had an executive session just prior to this board meeting. There are no votes taken during the executive session. We also have no one signed up today for public comment. We will move on our information items to item B, the GROW program update. And I'm waiting to hear all this good news that they have for us today.
Well, while we get this set up, I want to say thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, ALCOSAN staff, and esteemed colleagues. We're gonna give a quick, well, I can't say quick. Ahead of time. We are going to give a program update on, here we go. We had scheduled a green committee meeting and that got canceled. And Ella told me, well, we will share this information at the next board meeting. And I was like, great, because I was ahead of schedule. I already had the presentation done. Shared it with our rep. And she said, well, yeah, slides look nice, but what is GROW? And so dwelling on that three-word question for a night, I realized I had to redo it. So today we're going to give an update on the GROW program. It's been a while. With me is Andy Potts. He's with Jacobs, and Andy's been working on the GROW program since cycle 3, so 6 years. We're gonna discuss and give updates on growth. What we're really gonna do is we're gonna start by asking the question, what is GROW? The base first answer is always, it's a financial incentive program ALCOSAN created in 2016 to provide financial assistance to municipalities. Notice I didn't read that. That's mostly my words. But what ALCOSAN is now, we're one of 4 pillars of ALCOSAN's clean water plan. We have the plan expansion, we have the tunnel program, we have regionalization, and then GROW. One of the 4 pillars that goes in water plan.
So the goals were really to provide funding for design and construction of source control projects. And projects are looked at both on overflow reduction and inflow reduction basis. And you can see this beautiful example here from cycle 1, the fire retention at Center and Heron in the city of Pittsburgh. We started off with 4 eligible project types as shown here: I&I reduction, direct stream inflow removal, green stormwater infrastructure, and sewer separation. But then working with their customer municipalities, ALCOSAN added a 5th project type called system optimization. This is for kind of unique projects that still reduce overflow, but don't fit into one of these 4 categories. A great example is a force main project in Emsworth that reduced overflows at their pump station.
And a lot of green infrastructure projects, stream inflow projects are good examples of also utilizing and enhancing our natural resources. This slide is intended to share with you the number of projects that we have offered awards. So far, through 8 cycles, we have offered 178 awards to municipalities. You can see on the screen all 178. The colors represent different phases of the project. If the box is white, that means the project is completed. They built it, they assessed it, they provided us with a final report, and we closed it out, and their 20-year O&M obligation begins. Anything in blue means that they're currently going through that monitoring and assessing how effective the project was. Green is they're in construction, yellow is design, and then the red boxes are those projects where we made an offer, but that offer had to get rescinded or they declined it. And right now, as of the end of 2023, 91 of the 178 offered projects, 91 of them are completed. And 21 performance evaluation, 13 under construction, 35 in design, and 18 receipts. This is an example of the past several years of disbursements that ALCOSAN has made to our customer municipalities. So the GROW program has reimbursed over $21 million to our municipalities for these projects. And I know these numbers are right because Karen gave them to me. So where are we at with finances? So over $78 million in commitments through those 8 cycles. As I just said, over $21 million have been dispersed to the municipalities. $16 million, over $16 million are monies that come back into the pool. Either the project was rescinded or the project came in under budget and those funds were not used. All in all, what we have in commitments outstanding is a little over $40 million. Karen, thank you for the numbers.
One essential aspect of the program is to help municipalities identify cost-effective source control projects that can help achieve the region's environmentally conscious water quality goals. So
where this leads us is to a phase of the GROW program. After September's board meeting where the board approves the GROW awards, that Friday, we start the next cycle. We begin planning the municipal workshops. And what we do is we reach out to the municipalities and we are trying to get them to present to us the projects that they want to be taken into consideration. And we will meet with them at their municipal building, their engineers building, meet here, meet in teams, Zoom, doesn't matter. The point that we try to make in these is that we want to begin the collaborative process as soon as possible.
One especially important aspect of that this year is to understand the municipal consent order agreement. So ahead of these workshops, the team is reviewing those requirements so we're aware and can discuss those, and we'll give an example on the next slide.
And all in all, once they're done, this is us preparing for the next cycle.
As I mentioned, that center graphic is an example of an exhibit from the COAs showing some of the sewer sheds in M47 in this case that are over that gold line standard for I&I, and therefore the municipalities have requirements associated with that. But hopefully we can work together and help them solve those.
And what we also do is we show up with data that ALCOSAN has acquired in coordination with the municipalities over the past several years. So we're showing up prepared to discuss their project and maybe try to identify places where that project could be maybe a little bit more cost effective, maybe expand the project with the end goal is we're trying to make that match maximum for the municipality.
One of the key tools in that process is these overflow reduction efficiency maps, as you can see on the right here. And those really help municipalities pinpoint those areas where source reduction can be more effective, and they're readily available, provided to municipalities on the ALCOSAN website. The workshops, obviously, as Tim mentioned, you're discussing the proposed project or projects. Often municipalities have multiple projects they're looking at. We're reviewing all the associated data that's available, identifying any gaps they might have, maybe monitoring or CCTV that would be useful. Really, essentially just trying to figure out, does the municipality understand the problem, and are the proposed solutions making sense?
To kick off the workshops, ALCOSAN worked with Three Rivers Wet Weather to put together an agenda that goes along with their elected officials meetings. They held 4 of them in October and November. I attended before. And at those meetings, we were able to meet elected officials and talk about the GROW program, which, elected officials, they cycle through and sometimes they don't know about it. And I want to share the GROW program and how it can help their municipality. So through those efforts, we were able to meet with 16 municipalities over several months to talk about their source control projects. So once we're done with the workshops, we go into the letter of interest phase. And so between February and March, the municipalities are putting together their proposed projects to give to ALCOSAN. We would then take a look at it.
And in April, we're evaluating all those letters of interest that are received, comparing those and evaluating them in the context of the GROW program objectives, which are outlined in the program guidelines.
Now, we want to talk about the program guidelines because that was something we were going to talk about at the Green Committee meeting, and it is something to prepare the board for coming in March. The program guidelines are it's basically a document that gives the information about the GROW program, the eligibility requirements, and what is expected.
And we review them every year to see if there's any refinements that might help make the program more efficient. For example, this year we're going to propose, and you'll see some additional language on monitoring that might help the municipalities better understand those requirements.
So we have two types of modifications. We have recurring modifications, dates, cycle numbers. That's why every year the board is asked to approve the program guidelines because there's always some kind of change. But as Andy pointed out, there's also occasionally program modifications, and those modifications are intended to improve how the program is administered, but also give a better understanding to the municipalities on what the goals of the program are. And the process right now, Andy and I, we've taken a look at the past year, what needs to be improved, and as Andy pointed out, one of them is monitoring. After we finish that, internally, we'll vet this with staff. Once, and if it passes muster, we then send it to Max. Because Max wants to keep me out of jail. Just what Max is trying to do is making sure that program guidelines are consistent and that they are legal. Once it passes Max, we'll present it to the Green Committee and share and have that discussion with the Green Committee. And if the Green Committee approves, they will send it to the board. They will recommend that it goes to the board. All of this in preparation for March, where this hopefully will be put in front. So GROW is a team effort. Let's go back to what is GROW. And it's a team effort. Consultants, internal office and staff, there's a lot of pieces to this program that most people don't really see, but it's essential to have this work. Andy and the GROW team, they start with reviewing applications with me. And we go through and do the technical end. But once we make the awards, things shift to ALCOSAN. And so many people internally at ALCOSAN help make this a successful program. We have procurement, Suzanne and Beth, they help, keep this in line. Finance, Karen and Lori, government affairs, municipal outreach, communications, IT. There's so many divisions and departments that help make this a success. And last thing, after all of that implementation, Andy and the team, they help with reviewing.
And when we talk about project performance, it really starts with the final report. And as Tim mentioned, there are 91 completed projects as of today. They've submitted their final reports. You can see the breakdown by project type. I&I is certainly leading the way in terms of number of projects, followed by GSI and sewer separation. You can see a lot of examples of covers of those final reports here. And we're carefully tracking those. Each one is reviewed, of course. It's actually summarized in a consistent format too, for kind of easy reference later on. You can see you can see the table of the full list. You're not meant to read it. It barely fits on the screen anymore, even in this funny small font. But you can see how they've been submitted over the years since they started to flow in 2018. We're getting about 17 per year on average. So we should skyrocket above 100 this year, hopefully, knock on wood. And 88 were summarized and included in the recent performance summary that was put onto the municipal website. And that's a CD requirement to update that every 60 days. A lot of work goes into this. We're reviewing and assessing the performance monitoring data from the municipalities. We're comparing that to the project model, seeing if the projects performed as we anticipated. We're reporting on that performance in a number of documents, venues, and then we're incorporating those as appropriate into the overall ALCOSAN Clean Water Plan model so that it will be used going forward for all planning and model purposes. So the moment of truth, if we look at this table, it summarizes the performance of those 91 projects. We're estimating 950 million gallons removed on a typical year basis. And by pulling that flow out of the system, we're protecting public health by reducing overflows by over 140 million gallons a year. Those numbers are a little hard to kind of picture, so we're going to try and help you. That 950 million gallon equates to over 1,400 Olympic-sized pools being, that flow being removed from the system every single year, not the little backyard pools, but big 50-meter pools.
I still don't really get that.
1,400 of them?
1,440 to be precise.
Sylvia, I think that we should have a Pittsburgh standard.
Oh.
Does anybody agree? We need a uniquely Pittsburgh approximation.
There you go.
So how do we do that?
Notice it's empty.
And let's fill the 100 level with water. We're going to create a new unit of measurement, 1 acrosure. 1 million gallons. Oh, 42 million gallons. And Michelle will change the plant treatment rate to 6 acroshures per day. And that equates, 950 million gallons equates to 22 acroshures.
Wow, that's amazing.
Now, we got a great recommendation from the regulatory agencies last year, actually to look at the cumulative benefit of the program since it began, taking into account the fact that once a project's built, it's removing flow year after year. So when we tally that number up, we get up to 4.6 billion gallons. But again, what's that mean? Well, it's 108 acroshures that are not flowing down to the plant, not requiring treatment, not causing overflow.
That's awesome.
So what is GROW? Well, it's a cost-effective program that's customer-oriented that helps municipalities find projects that enhance our natural resources and protect public health.
So what is GROW? GROW is ALCOSAN's mission to provide cost-effective, customer-oriented, environmentally conscious wastewater treatment that protects public health and enhances the use of our natural resources. What is GROW?
Grow is awesome. I see what you did there.
I have no question, but I appreciate the she has a question, but I appreciate the visual because we do talk about the numbers are large. That's incredible how much water has been removed that is no longer dealing with not true. So thank you for the acrosure measure. Even that is huge, but it does give us a better visual than just looking at the number. Teresa, go ahead.
Yeah, do you have a copy of the presentation you can send to us? You have- And also, could you make sure you include, I'm curious of how many projects there are actually in the city of Pittsburgh, how many applications you had, how many were awarded?
I'm pretty sure we're in the realm of maybe 20.
Yeah.
A lot of the early cycles, we got a lot. and then-
I'd like to say, Matt, tell them
Absolutely.
where they are across the region. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much for your time.
Thank you. Whew, hard to follow that one. Uh-oh, Karen, you get to. All right, Karen's going to review the budget and it goes according to Exhibit A. Go ahead, Karen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yes, that is a very hard act. I'll break it up into- I'm very pleased to present the results for the full year on a cash basis. We have collected over 110% of the budgeted revenues, and we've expended 91% of the budgeted expenditures through the end of 2023 on a cash basis. So we continue to operate in a sound fiscal manner. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them.
Good job, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Right, item D, the capital budget status report, Exhibit B, Ms. Kennedy.
All right, so Karen was looking back at 2023, but this is establishing our capital budget for 2024. So you'll see the 231 million is our 2024 capital budget, and just sort of how we broke it down. Just 14 million and a half $1 million spent through January, but certainly this is sort of our template now to track our costs through the year. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Hearing none, we'll move on. Item E is the report of actions by the executive director to approve construction change orders. We'll see these on Exhibit C. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the first change order that we have here, these are change orders within the contingency that you've established. This is for the environmental compliance facility. And it is a matter of water lines that were in a highly congested area that needed to be rerouted.
Okay, thank you. Item F is again, report of actions by the executive director and approval of construction change orders. This goes according to Exhibit D. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, this is a set of change orders for reporting under our earlier system. We have 5 in this category. First, it's for the north end. Again, congestion. This is a E contract. As you'll notice, this is electrical conduit that needed to be relocated. And this one was monitoring equipment for the railroad that needed to be relocated as well. That's number 1. Number 2, 1720 AP. We are moving into the return activated sludge project. You're going to see multiple change orders on this particular contract. This is for the plumbing portion. And this provides for an extension of time. The extension of time that was required on this contract was due to the need for reconstructing the gas stations that was completely unanticipated. The third change order, this is 1729 HVAC. This is for the East Head Works. This one is a little more simplistic and straightforward. There were dampers that were required for code that had not been indicated in the original bid documents. The 4th change and the 5th change are both associated with the O&M building 4th floor windows contract. We had a leaking roof work that was required. I like the way these 2 change orders both again for 1782 match up because it gives you a representation of how the policy that permits us to keep moving forward with work and report to you works very well. You'll notice number 4 is the first change order on this contract. It's for a combination of things from more caulking to a credit for some flashing that wasn't required. You go to the second, that's a final on this contract. If you had placed us in a situation where we had to wait for you to get from December all the way to January to take care of the first one, you wouldn't have a final right now. So your policies are working well. That does it for this series of change orders because the director of engineering and construction has made sure she's placed more change orders on this agenda than just about any after we're calling 25 years. Thank you.
We're going to move on into action items now. And the first is to approve the minutes of the December 14th meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Item B is to consider authorizing the payments of invoices that are in excess of 20,100 from between December 5th to January 16th, and we'll see this on Exhibit E. Ms. Williams?
Madam Chair, because of the time lapse between the December meeting, which is in the second week of December, and today, you've got a substantial invoice list. However, you received it with your preliminary packet, have reviewed. We have not received questions about any invoices. However, if you have those at this time, we will be pleased to respond.
All right, hearing no questions. Can I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion is approved. And for those of you that are new to me doing this, when I'm listening for the votes, and I know we have the majority, I don't ask for any nays because it's obvious it's been approved unanimously sometimes. Most times we might miss one name, one vote. Item C is to award the following contract. Number 1, 1796, to furnish and deliver sodium hypochlorites. We'll see this on Exhibit F. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, we have a great story to tell here. The world continues to come back to normal, somewhat. If you notice at the bottom of the exhibit, what the pricing was a year ago and where we are today. So significant reduction. This is taking us back to what we were much more accustomed to. I believe we're a little over 2 million in a year, Douglas, that's correct. So this decrease in pricing will save us about 600,000 over a year. It's good to move in that direction. And obviously we have experience with this vendor. The second
Exciting news.
Yeah, it is. The second item, exciting as well, maybe not to the same extent. However, you can see the 45 per pound. Last year, we're 36.6. Again, same vendor. It's a good story. We spent about 32,000 a year on this chemical.
Mr. Johnson, can we approve both of these at the same time? Thank you. Could I please get a motion for item C one?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion is approved. Item D is a motion to authorize the preparation of specifications and add for bids for Exhibit H. These are for contracts 1799, 1800, and 1801. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, if the contracts that were just awarded were exciting. These for preparation are even more exciting because of where we are headed. The first contract, solid thickening and dewatering improvements. This is going to change our dewatering facility, all in concert with what is required for compliance with the consent decree and clean water program implementation. We will end up with new centrifuges, we'll add equipment, we're going into a new technology for us, which will be gravity thickeners. It's not just the equipment, but the building itself, the structure is going to have to be modified as well. In addition to that, we will end up with a better operating space for the personnel who are represented by the president of Local 433 in the corner in the red shirt, Mr. Shedd. So this provides for a new control room for the operating crew. And it, for me, having seen the evolution from when I walked in here in 1984, and we had vacuum filters that no way to describe it. You would have to experience it to be able to move to this process. This is exciting. So that's the first contract. The second contract, that's the wet weather pump station. We're gonna dig another hole. There will be settling, there will be vibration, Dr. G, but it's okay. It's right here at home. 150 feet, 150 feet. We will end up taking an additional 120 million gallons of flow into the plant. We're changing, we're evolving. Again, it's an exciting time. Ultimately, this construction is going to give us a new facility that's going to have to align with the Ohio River Tunnel that's being constructed. So sequencing and coordination with that contractor is going to be mandatory. The third contract, switchgear pre-purchase, another one of those, as we have shared with you repeatedly, lead items, that long lead items that require preparation and coordination. Got the power things, particularly tunnel bore machine. We will purchase through this contract. We will not install through this contract. I believe that wraps up the three. If you have any questions on it.
Right, there are no questions. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Motion is approved. Item E is a motion to approve the following change orders that exceed 30,000 in value. Against CUs and the items in Exhibit I. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, this is the final batch of change orders 4 in this set. And yes, these are for your action. We return again to the return activated sludge project. This is the general contract, whereas again, you've got the additional time that was required because of the replacement of the buildings. We've got a variety of changes here. We did not need as much repair of crack in the tunnel as anticipated. I think we had gauged it would be more feet than it was. We also had to replace the roof in 3 of the stair towers. That's number 1. Number 2, back to brass. This is the electrical. This takes care of the impacts to this contractor for the time extension for the replacement of those buildings. For And I should point out both 1 and 2 are final change orders. Number 3, whereas again, this is the HVAC. This is not a final. We have not concluded with this contractor just yet, but it is the same issue. In addition to having had to temporarily mount heating units, I believe it was condenser, had to be mounted one place because of the demolition and the reconstruction, then needed to be moved to another place, and there's costs associated with that. The last change order in this series, which I find surprising to say, that the North End plant expansion change order is the one that's the least complicated and convoluted. And ultimately a credit, however, it has 2 components. There is a cost associated with, what was that? That was the electrical duct bank. And then there's a credit for changing the material that was used to coat the inside of the manholes. That's it for change order.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no questions, but I have a motion to approve. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Just checking if I'll be able to do this one. All right, we come to item F and G. We'll vote on them separately, but I just wanted you to be aware that these 2 items were discussed in the Professional Services Committee, which was held on January the 11th. And the committee voted to recommend them to the full board today. Item F is motion to approve awarding to T2 utility engineers for engineering consultant services in amount not to exceed $902,000 to perform the scope of services for the underground utility locating services. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the board awarded this contract to T2 utility engineers. We negotiated the fee. We have come back with the recommendation for this cost.
All right, hearing no questions, could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All motions approved. Item G is a motion to approve the modification of service authorization 340 for Gannett Fleming for the work associated with the final design services for the Oakdale Pump Station and sewer replacement project. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, as indicated, this was taken to the Professional Services Committee, and our Director of Regional Conveyance, Mike Lichta, did an excellent job educating the committee on what this project is going to provide for. I've asked him to do it again.
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair. In 2019, we authorized Gannett Fleming to complete the basis of design report for 3 pump stations under consideration for transfer under the regionalization program. In 2020, those reports were delivered. Subsequent to those reports, we've had extensive discussions with the municipalities tributary to the Oakdale Pump Station. These are North Fayette, South Fayette, McDonald, and Oakdale. In conjunction with the solicitor and the solicitors for the municipalities, we've gone so far as to develop a term sheet which sets forth the cost allocations between ALCOSAN and the municipalities, as well as a schedule to design and construct a new pump station, equalization facility, and about 6,200 feet of new upsized sewer. Gannett Fleming's been a partner throughout this process, through the preliminary design, as well as the negotiation process with the municipalities. Therefore, we're recommending a modification of their original service authorization in the amount of $759,430 to complete all the permitting associated with the project, as which there is extensive permitting, 537 plan, special study, as well as provide us with final design and contract documents. So with that, what the need award.
Thanks so much.
Motion to approve the modification.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. All right, item H is a motion to authorize payment of $60,000 to Bapcor Packaging Corporation for the purpose of business dislocation damages. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, this is part of the process of property acquisition. The board has taken this action previously for the current circumstance. It has been reviewed by the solicitor and recommended for board action.
Thank you. Hearing no questions,
Motion to approve. Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. And we will move to item I. Every year, we have election of officers, and we will ask Mr. Junker to conduct the election of officers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, under our bylaws, this is the meeting during which the board reorganizes. We do have a self-imposed term limit on our chair position. So Ms. Wilson is not eligible to serve again. So thank you for your service throughout the last several years. I have been provided a slate of officers, and I'll read my names and positions here, and would call for a motion to approve the slate if acceptable to the board. For chair, we have Shanna Tharp-Gilliam. For vice chair, we have Emily Kincaid. For treasurer, we have Sylvia Wilson. For secretary, we have Harry Reedshaw. And for assistant secretary, assistant treasurer, Darren Kelly. Do I have a motion on the slate?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Klein, seconded by Teresa Smith. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. We are reorganized.
All right, thank you so much. I don't see that we have any items for new business. We do.
Notwithstanding our longest serving chairperson, Mr. Reedshaw. You have been absolutely phenomenal as my chairperson. I couldn't have asked for more. I couldn't have been happier. Thank you. Thank you for all your support, professional, personal. You're the best. You are.
Thank you so very much. Of course, being compared to Harry Reedshaw, so something.
Thank you. On time there.
Our next board, we've got something else.
I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to acknowledge a moment of history being made for the first time in this organization. Not only is the chairperson ship passing to another woman, it's passing from an African-American woman to another African-American woman. And that's pretty doggone special. So welcome aboard. Now, because the executive director really does control things, you can adjourn.
Oh, we'll adjourn. I was gonna say the next meeting is February 22nd, but okay, we're adjourned, folks. Thank you, everyone, for being here.